They say every man has two lives, and in the second one, he's more careful. Well, I lived my first 29 years with the heart of a mouse, afraid to take risks, afraid to push my limits. I felt like a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. Then everything changed, not with a bang, but with a whisper that grew louder and louder until it became a roar. That whisper was my inner voice urging me to action, and that action was to listen to that voice. And then something amazing happened. My entire perspective shifted. It's as if a fog lifted and I saw myself for the first time, not as I wanted to be seen, but as I truly was. It was both terrifying and exhilarating. But here's the crazy part. What if I hadn't listened? What if I'd chosen to ignore that voice, to keep living in mediocrity, afraid and ashamed? Today I want to talk about what happens when you choose not to listen to that voice, when you turn away from your true self. We'll delve into the story of a man named David Goggins, who teaches us the importance of confronting our inner demons head-on and the consequences of ignoring them. You see, life is like a mirror. It reflects back whatever we choose to focus on. If we stare into the abyss of fear and doubt, that's what we'll find staring back at us. But if we turn our gaze towards courage, growth, and resilience, that's what we'll see reflected back as well. It's all about what we choose to focus on. David Goggins, a name synonymous with grit, determination, and pushing human limits. This man didn't just stumble into greatness. He marched towards it with the tenacity of a pit bull. Let's start at the beginning. David wasn't born with a silver spoon. His early life was marked by struggles that would have crushed the spirit of most. Poverty, dysfunctional relationships, and bullying were his unwelcome companions. But here's where things get interesting. Most people would have folded under such pressures, succumbing to bitterness and despair. But David did something remarkable. He flipped the script. He channeled those negative experiences into fuel, a propellant that pushed him to excel in every endeavor he embarked upon. For instance, when he enlisted in the Navy, his peers considered him a joke. They underestimated him, labeling him as someone who couldn't cut it. Yet he astonished everyone, including himself. By emerging as the top recruit, he went on to achieve what others thought impossible, even qualifying for the elite Navy SEAL teams. When you hear David's story, it's easy to feel a sense of wonder. How did this kid from Buffalo, New York, become the ultramarathon runner who broke the record for the longest distance covered in 24 hours? Or the man who shattered expectations by completing 100-mile races in 8 days? Or the author of several best-selling books? Or the man who made it into the Guinness Book of World Records for his insane physical feats? How did he accomplish all of this while overcoming dyslexia, poverty, and childhood trauma? You might think he had a perfect childhood, that everything was great growing up. But trust me, that's not the case. David's life was far from ideal. He faced bullying and financial struggles. And to add to his challenges, he was obese and illiterate. It took him until he was 28 years old to read his first book. But despite these obstacles, David triumphed. He didn't let his surroundings define him. He was born and raised in the housing projects of Buffalo, New York, and later moved to a crime-ridden neighborhood in San Diego, California. As a kid, he was labeled slow and stupid, and rightfully so. He struggled in school and couldn't focus due to his dyslexia. Even his parents didn't offer much support. His father abandoned the family when David was just 7 months old, leaving his mother to raise him and his brother on her own. So how did David transform from an outcast kid into an international sensation known for breaking world records? Well, the answer lies in his mindset, in how he chose to react to life's challenges. In David's autobiography, Can't Hurt Me, he reveals that he discovered the secret to success in a place most people would unthink to look: the dark room. The dark room is a metaphor for the deepest recesses of our minds, where we confront our most painful memories and darkest fears. It's that quiet space within us where we wrestle with the harsh realities of our existence, grappling with the undeniable truths about ourselves. At first I thought the darkroom was a product of David's imagination, a mere literary device to emphasize the power of the mind. However, after diving deeper into his story, I realized that the darkroom is a very real phenomenon, a common experience that unites us all. We each have our own dark rooms filled with the unsettling truths about ourselves that we try to ignore. These could be memories of past mistakes, failures, moments of weakness, or even the uncomfortable realization of our own potential. But here's a crucial point. It's not about avoiding the dark room or wishing it didn't exist. It's about confronting it head-on, embracing the discomfort, and extracting the valuable lessons within. One of the most significant lessons I've ever learned from David Goggins is the power of acknowledging and accepting reality as it is. Trying to deny or change reality only leads to misery and suffering. Take, for example, the common fear of failure. When faced with the possibility of failure, many of us naturally try to convince ourselves that it won't happen. We tell ourselves stories about how we redestined for success and that failure is just a temporary setback. While these thoughts may feel comforting in the moment, they only serve to distance us further from reality. By refusing to acknowledge the possibility of failure, we set ourselves up for disappointment and despair when it inevitably occurs. Instead, we must learn to embrace reality as it is. to accept that failure is a natural and necessary part of the journey towards success. Only by confronting reality can we begin to understand it and work towards creating the life we desire. David Goggins is a shining example of this principle. He didn't shy away from facing his failures, but rather used them as stepping stones to achieve his goals. For instance, when he first joined the Navy and was labeled a joke by his peers, he could have easily given up. But instead, he embraced the challenge and emerged as the top recruit. Similarly, when he faced physical and mental breakdowns during his grueling training, he didn't allow himself to quit. He pushed through the pain and emerged stronger on the other side. It's this unwavering commitment to facing reality head-on that has allowed David to achieve greatness. By now you must be wondering, why should you, someone sitting comfortably in your chair, care about the story of a man who grew up in poverty and overcame incredible odds? The truth is that David's story resonates with each and every one of us, because it mirrors the battles we face in our own lives. Whether it's overcoming a difficult childhood, conquering limiting beliefs, or achieving seemingly impossible goals, we all have our own Everest to climb. David's journey serves as a beacon, guiding us to realize that the life we dream of is within reach. It's not about luck, privilege, or chance. It is about the relentless pursuit of excellence and the courage to stare into the abyss and emerge victorious. We often tell ourselves, oh, I wish I had the courage to do what David Goggins does. But the truth is that we already possess that courage. It's buried beneath layers of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. Just like David, we must venture into the darkroom, confront our demons, and channel that raw energy into fuel for our journey. Remember, the world is a mirror. It reflects back whatever we choose to focus on. If we dwell in the shadows of fear, that's what will consume us. But if we turn our gaze towards the light, we'll find strength, resilience, and the unwavering belief in our own abilities. So I challenge you to look within yourself, to acknowledge those uncomfortable truths that lurk in the dark corners of your mind. Embrace them, confront them, and allow them to propel you forward on your journey to greatness. And remember, the journey is not about avoiding the dark room, but about walking through it with courage. For it's in there that you'll find the strength you never knew you possessed. It's time to wake up to your potential and claim the life that's rightfully yours. It's time to step out of the shadows and into the light. The world is waiting for you to show it what you're made of. Don't let it wait any longer. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.